Alright, Schlockmeister fans, a re-review from my previous channel, a cable classic, Deadly Eyes. Let's check it out. That's Trudy and her teacher, Mr. Harris. She's in love with her teacher.
So, where's Liz today? She was going to cut school while her parents were gone.
She's inspecting some grain.
You're in violation of at least 6 health department codes. I'm going to have to condemn all of this corn.
Well, that corn and everything else there is tainted, and it's making the rats grow really big. Rock and roll.
Would you mind turning down the stereo? We can hear it all over the neighborhood. No problem.
Trudy thinks she's going to score with her teacher.
Besides, I bet it would be great with an older man. I bet it will never happen. How much? A month's allowance? You're on.
Anyway, all these kids are at this house, and one of them is babysitting this little baby, and something's stalking. When the girl comes to check on her, something you don't see often in movies, splattering of baby blood. Mr. Harris is also the basketball coach, and one of his players got bit by something outside,
Something bit me.
which we know was a rat, but he didn't quite see it.
Mr. Harris, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Trudy, I'm flattered, but I'm not entirely sure you know what you're talking about.
I do. I think about you a lot.
She forces a kiss, but ultimately she gets rejected.
Call me in about 10 years, all right? Good night.
Our next victim is an old man who was just on a date. Scatman Crothers works for the health department, I think.
It's getting bad, dangerous, and ugly down there, Kelly. Will you believe the other day I saw a rat this big?
And while he's checking out a drain pipe, he barricades himself in, but ultimately they find a way in as well.
Kelly Leonard's calling.
Kelly met Paul Harris, the teacher, and decides to invite him out for dinner.
I'm not sure how to ask you this. No, I don't think you're carrying a community.
Paul must be a charming fellow because he gets lucky on date number 1.
Phone company guy found it.
Scatman is found.
We won't have positive ID till the autopsy, but it's definitely Foskins.
What was the cause of death?
You always hear stories about super rats. As far as I'm concerned, it's just stories, none of which has ever been supported with hard data.
So the city calls the exterminators and they fumigate those drain pipes, trying to kill the rats.
What the hell are you doing here?
She broke into his apartment, basically.
I had to see.
How'd you get in here?
Landlord.
Of course, that's the exact time that Kelly chose to come over as well.
I see why you didn't want to be disturbed.
So in spite of that incident, Kelly agrees to take Paul's son to the opening of the new subway train with the mayor. Meanwhile, the rats are attacking someone at the bowling alley. Then they turn their attention to the power cords running the subway, which brings the train to a screeching halt. The rats also attack the nearby movie theater, where Trudy is now reunited with her old boyfriend since she got rejected by Mr. Harris.
We apologize for this inconvenience. Hey, I didn't spend $100 million in tax
Paul gets down to the subway station to grab Kelly and his son. Meanwhile, the rats are moving in. Paul and Kelly and his son are barricaded themselves in behind a little gated area. They fashion themselves a blowtorch to get out of there. And then he tipped over some gasoline to blow the whole place to shit. The subway arrives. And that ends our film. All right, let's talk about Deadly Eyes. Now, this is a movie. It's an early movie that I had in my collection. I taped this way back in February of 1985 off of the Movie Channel. And I also had it on a beta tape with two other movies, Chomps and Cujo. So it was a total animal movie, although one of them was not an animal killer movie, but this one was. We got killer rats here. So the movie on-screen title was Night Eyes, but everybody knows this as Deadly Eyes. There's some corn and some other grain or whatever else that apparently is tainted. The health department's there to basically shut them down because what we find out is that I don't know if it was ever really stated, but apparently some rats were eating this corn and it turned them into super rats, these giant rats. And then next thing you know, they're terrorizing the city. They're stalking in the basement. They come up, they attack people. They kill an old man. They kill a baby. They kill a babysitter. Ultimately what happens here, well, there's a subplot here. Our main character's name is Paul Harris. He's a teacher. They never really said if he was high school or college, although I think it may have been high school. He's got a student named Trudy, played by Lisa Langlois, who's in love with him. He rejects her, of course, because he has to. Instead, he falls for this woman who works at the health department, Kelly, who's the one who condemned this corn to begin with. He's a divorced man with a young son. So they become a couple, do Kelly and Paul, and Kelly takes his son out to the train station where a new subway has been opening up in the city. Somehow she gets tickets to go on the very first ride with the mayor and everything else. And of course, the rats decide to attack at that point. They shut down the power by chewing through the lines and everything. So the train stops. Everybody's got to get out and walk. And the rats start attacking. Now, Paul got down there to rescue his son and Kelly before anything happened to them. But they get chased by the rats. They end up using like a blowtorch to fend them off. And then they dump some gasoline down there because, of course, there was gasoline tanks down there, or barrels. And they blow the whole thing up. Did they kill all the rats? No, but maybe they killed a bunch of them. The train starts running again, and of course it pulls into the station. Reporters are there, and everybody is looking inside, and all they see are tons and tons of giant rats and dead bodies. And that's basically how our movie ends. There you go. A little bit of nudity in this movie. There actually were some decent gore effects in here, especially considering the fact that the rats were played by dogs who were in rat costumes. But in spite of that, they actually, some of the gore was pretty decent. A lot of chewing, and it was kind of nice. Don't know anybody who's in this movie, really. Leslie Donaldson and Lisa Langlois. Lisa Langlois was the girl who was in love with her teacher there. Two of them were in Happy Birthday to Me, and Leslie Donaldson was also in Funeral Home, which I reviewed also. Lisa Langlois, if you want to see her naked, she didn't get naked in this. She looks good. Watch The Man Who Wasn't There with Steve Guttenberg. Fully nude in that, but I digress. So anyway, Deadly Eyes has been put out on Blu-ray by Scream. To me, I don't think this has been released on DVD. I think it was, actually this is a DVD Blu-ray combo, but it did not get a separate release as far as I know. And I'm glad I snatched this up when I did a few years back, about 4 or 5 years ago, because this fucker's expensive now. It's like $100 if you want to get this. I don't know why, but it just is what it is. Anyway, the Blu-ray is really nice. Like I said, it's a Blu-ray and DVD. The picture looks fantastic. It's got some interviews with some of the actors, including Lisa Langlois and Leslie Donaldson. And yeah, several others as well. So anyway, that's it. Deadly Eyes. I'm sure some of you have seen this movie. Scatman Crothers is also in it. He gets killed. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. Deadly Eyes. Watch it. Bye.